Legends tell of the mighty knights of the Round Table, sworn to King Arthur, bound by honor and destined for greatness. But what became of these noble warriors? Today we uncover the fates of the most renowned knights of Camelot. Arthur Pendragon, a name whispered with reverence and tinged with sorrow. He was the king who united a fractured land, drawing strength from the mystical sword Excalibur. He was a beacon of hope, a just ruler who established Camelot as a symbol of unity and chivalry. From the wilds of his youth, tutored by the wise Merlin, to his reign as High King, Arthur's life was a tapestry woven with threads of magic, love and war. He fought countless battles, always at his side, the Knights of the Round Table, his loyal companions, his strength. But even the mightiest oak can be felled. Betrayal, the cruelest blow, struck Arthur down in the bloom of his years. At the Battle of Camelot, the fields ran red with the blood of friends turned foe. It was there, on that tragic field, that Arthur faced his own blood, his son Mordred. Mordred, the embodiment of treachery, struck his father down, mortally wounding the king. Yet Arthur, even in his final moments, managed to deliver a fatal blow to the traitorous Mordred. The fallen king, his life ebbing away, was carried to the mystical Isle of Avalon. Some say he died that day, his body laid to rest in a hidden tomb. Others whisper that he slumbers still, awaiting the day when Britain needs her king once more. Sir Lancelot du Lac, the greatest knight of the Round Table, his name was synonymous with chivalry, his skill with the lance unmatched. He was the embodiment of knightly virtues, yet even Lancelot, the most celebrated warrior, was not immune to the frailties of the human heart. His loyalty to Arthur was absolute, his devotion to his king unwavering. But within Lancelot's heart burned a forbidden love for Queen Guinevere, Arthur's wife. Their love, a tragic secret, would ultimately cast a long shadow over Camelot. Torn between his love for Guinevere and his loyalty to Arthur, Lancelot found himself adrift in a sea of conflicting emotions. His affair with Guinevere did not remain a secret for long. Mordred, ever the opportunist, exposed their love, plunging Camelot into chaos. Arthur, forced to act against his closest friend and his beloved wife, found himself embroiled in a war he never sought. Lancelot, devastated by the role he played in Camelot's downfall, chose exile over further bloodshed. Sir Lancelot, the greatest knight, died a broken man, seeking redemption for a love that shattered the very foundations of Camelot. Sir Gawain, nephew to King Arthur, was a knight of unwavering loyalty and immense strength. He was a shining example of chivalry, his name spoken with respect and admiration throughout the land. He fought beside Arthur in countless battles, his courage never faltering, his resolve never shaken. Gawain was a man of principle, his actions guided by a strict moral code. He believed in honor and justice, in protecting the weak and upholding the laws of chivalry. He was a true knight-errant, always ready to defend the helpless and right the wrongs of the world. His loyalty to Arthur was absolute, but he also held Lancelot in high regard, despite the tragic love affair that threatened to tear Camelot apart. When the final battle erupted at Camelot, Gawain fought with his usual ferocity, his heart heavy with the knowledge that friend fought against friend. He was mortally wounded in the fray, his lifeblood seeping onto the blood-soaked ground. As he lay dying, Lancelot, his closest friend and rival, reached his side. Sir Gawain, the Noble and Steadfast, breathed his last, his passing a grievous loss for the realm. Sir Galahad, a name whispered with reverence and awe. He was unlike any other knight, his purity and piety unmatched. He was the son of Lancelot, yet he possessed a spiritual strength that surpassed even his legendary father. From a young age, Galahad was destined for greatness, his path illuminated by a higher purpose. He arrived at Arthur's court, a shining beacon amidst the gathering storm clouds. His presence seemed to radiate an otherworldly light, his gaze filled with a wisdom beyond his years. It was foretold that Galahad, the pure of heart, would be the one to achieve the ultimate quest, the search for the Holy Grail. The Grail, a sacred relic shrouded in mystery, was said to possess divine power, its presence capable of healing the sick and granting eternal life. Galahad, accompanied by Percival and Bors, embarked on this perilous quest. He faced trials that would break even the strongest of knights, temptations that would lure the most devout astray. Yet Galahad's faith never wavered, his resolve never faltered, and finally, after a long and arduous journey, he reached the sacred castle where the Grail was said to be kept. In the presence of the Grail, bathed in its divine light, Galahad experienced a spiritual awakening, a communion with the divine that transcended mortal understanding. He had achieved what no other knight had achieved, his quest fulfilled, his purpose served. Galahad, touched by the divine, could no longer remain in the mortal realm. He was granted ascension, his earthly body left behind as his spirit soared to the heavens. Sir Percival, a knight of noble birth and steadfast faith, was drawn to Galahad's side, recognizing in the young knight a purity of spirit he had never encountered before. Percival, though a valiant warrior, was plagued by a deep sense of humility, always striving to be worthy of the honor bestowed upon him as a knight of the Round Table. Sir Bors, Lancelot's nephew, was a man of quiet strength and unwavering loyalty. He was known for his honesty and his unwavering commitment to justice. He, too, felt the pull of destiny, the call to join Galahad on his sacred quest for the Holy Grail. Together, these three knights faced the unknown, their hearts filled with both trepidation and hope. They encountered mystical creatures, navigated treacherous landscapes, and faced temptations that tested the very core of their beings. Percival, during the quest, was granted a brief but profound glimpse of the Grail. The experience, though fleeting, left an indelible mark on his soul, transforming him from a valiant knight into a man of deep spiritual understanding. Upon their return, Percival, forever changed by his experience, chose to withdraw from the world, dedicating his remaining years to prayer and contemplation. Sir Bors, the last surviving member of the Grail quest, became the keeper of its memory, a living testament to the power of faith and the ephemeral nature of earthly glory. Mordred. His name is a stain on the tapestry of Camelot, a whisper of treachery and despair. Born of darkness and shrouded in secrecy, he was Arthur's illegitimate son, conceived during a time of enchantment and deception. His very existence was a threat to the throne, a secret that Arthur, in his naivety, kept hidden from the world. Mordred grew up in the shadow of the king he was destined to betray, his heart poisoned by resentment and a lust for power. He was a master manipulator, skilled in the art of deception. He sowed seeds of discord among the knights, whispering doubts and fueling rivalries. He exploited their weaknesses, turning their virtues against them, slowly chipping away at the unity that bound the Round Table. Mordred craved power, the throne that he believed was rightfully his. He used Lancelot and Guinevere's love affair to his advantage, exposing their secret and igniting the flames of war within Camelot's walls. He watched with cold satisfaction as the kingdom fractured, as brother turned against brother. At the Battle of Camlan, Mordred finally confronted Arthur, his blade dripping with the blood of those who had once called him king. He fought with the fury of a man possessed, driven by years of bitterness and a thirst for revenge. He managed to strike a fatal blow to Arthur, his blade piercing the king's armor. But Arthur, in his final moments, summoned the last vestiges of his strength and delivered a mortal wound to Mordred. Mordred's legacy was one of betrayal and destruction, the embodiment of the darkness that lurks within the hearts of men. Thus ended the age of the Round Table, not with triumph but with tragedy. The dream of Camelot, of a united land ruled by justice and chivalry, crumbled under the weight of betrayal, ambition, and human failings. Yet legends whisper that Arthur will rise again in Britain's greatest hour of need. Until then, their stories remain eternal as the stars, reminding us of the enduring power of courage, loyalty, and the never-ending struggle between light and darkness.